And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you again. It's part of our NBA team previews for you, coming right at you, right here for the Lakers Fast Break. And of course, today's team is the Indianapolis Pacers. The Indiana Pacers coming off the high of being just one game short of a world championship. Unfortunately, the bittersweet ending in regards to obviously the losing. And what I was hoping to be a little bit more competitive seventh game, but obviously the injury to Tyrese Haliburton, that really was the final death knell. But to credit to the fighting spirit of Indiana and Indiana Pacers, how they came really a long way, just underdogs throughout, and they overcame it, a lot of moxie, and it was great to see. And here today to go ahead and discuss all that's going on is a good man indeed. He is returning to us once again. It is, of course, Mueez Azfar. Mueez, great to have you back. I'd love to speak another 2-3 hours. There you go. The Ron Artest jersey. There you go. Meta World Peace. Although don't have him do your finances. I'll just say that. But according to these views, I would love to speak pro wrestling with you for like hours, because I do cover that also for my pop culture show. But that is for another day, because I know that you also cover and have covered the basketball world. But yes, last word on sports. Please go ahead and check out his work there. Mueez, it's just great to have you back on the program.
Absolutely. It's great to be back anytime you need me. It's been a while. It's been quite a long time. I think the last time we talked was before the in-season tournament final, which was 2 seasons ago. So it's been a while
Absolutely.
for sure.
Yes, it has been, my friend. Just great to get back with you on it. And since then, your team, the Indiana Pacers, that you covered quite a bit, went on to some great success. Absolutely killed it in the playoffs. Love the moxie. That absolute, almost perfect ending in New York with the choke seen around the world by Tyrese Haliburton. Oh, I wish that would have been the winning shot. Oh, I wish that would have been the winning shot right there.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm happy it wasn't, because we gave New York false hope. Because as soon as the overtime period started, as soon as I saw that it was a 2 and we're going to overtime, I'm like, they're not winning. They're not winning. Like, that shot right there sucked all the energy out of the arena. I could tell they weren't winning at that point.
That's true, but I just love it when it ends, when a game ends on like that.
With the buzzer beater,
Yeah,
yeah.
choke. That would have been that just would have been like the
Were you
icing on.
were you a bit disappointed at the game winner against OKC, because there were 0.3 seconds left and it wasn't a buzzer beater?
Yeah, but still, I mean, the fact that he got that shot up was a testament
Mm-hmm.
to him. The fact that Onobi and OKC realized that he had the ball soon enough,
Mm-hmm.
especially for a team that is noted for their backcourt defense and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely a mistake on their part, but it didn't
Yeah,
bite them in the end. They got away with it. They won that series.
unfortunately.
And yes, for Indiana Pacers, like you said, fans, unfortunately. And then compounding insult to injury was the fact that Tyrese Haliburton did tear his Achilles in that last game. I
Right.
know that a lot has been said about how that his leg issues beforehand might have led up to it. And I know there's a lot of, as we go back and say, hindsight is 2020, armchair quarterbacking and all that good stuff. Um, there's nothing you could do. Okay, so you don't play him because his leg is hurting. You don't get close to that title. So it's a
Mm-hmm.
catch
Mm-hmm.
22 in the first place, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, if say he was out for game 5, we would have not game 5. If he was out for game 6, we would have lost in 6. We would have
Yeah.
lost in 6, because in game 6, I remember he didn't score that much. He had like 13 points, but he was playing great defense. If you remember, the probably the most memorable play from all the finals, the second most, he got the steal, threw it behind the back to Pascal, who dunked on Jalen Williams. That was the momentum shift of all momentum shifts. When he hit that, I was like, we could go on. We could win the next 5 games in a row if they had them. I truly believe, and I'll go to my grave with this. If he was healthy for the entirety of Game 7, we would have won. Absolutely. I have no doubt because if you remember in that game before he got injured, OKC was nervous. They
Yes.
were missing shots they usually made. Jalen Williams was playing garbage. It was only after he got hurt when they turned it up. And with me, it's like when people say he probably wouldn't have shot that well the rest of the game. I don't think that would have mattered. I think he could have not put up I think he could have not made a whole shot for the rest of the game and we still would have won. Because if you watch the rest of that game, we could not hold on to the ball for anything. We were letting go of the ball. We were turning it over. Couldn't get it past half court. None of that. And Tyrese, what he's so good at, the fact that he's there, the fact that he's on the court, the fact that we have somebody who is a threat, who has gravity, even without scoring, he's there. He'll give you an extra 15, 20 points just by being there. You know, just by somebody who the defense has to respect and somebody who they can't just poke the ball loose from every time. Like I love TJ McConnell, but some of those turnovers and Andrew Nemhard, some of those turnovers in the second half were hard to watch. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So now you go into the season without Tyrese Haliburton, unless something dramatic happens, like a big run by Indiana with the players that they have there currently. I do think that Indiana will, at this point now, side on the err on the side of caution and not have him play this season, unless, like I said, that it comes to a big playoff run and there's a pathway to a return to the finals. Then you might want to change. They may change their mind. We'll have to wait and see. But losing Myles Turner in the offseason to Milwaukee. He signed a 4-year deal, or I believe, yes, a 4-year deal. I think $107 million with Milwaukee.
108, 108.
108. Well, who's counting? When it gets to that point, really,
we're not. Clearly, we're not.
I'll take it. Mueez. I'll take it. I'll take that extra mil. But if that's the case, again, losing him, bringing in Jay Huff, there's uncertainty now at the big man position. You have uncertainty now at the point guard position because you have to move Andrew Nemhard over because TJ McConnell you still want as your super sub coming off the bench. I know that Rick Carlisle has indicated that Benedict Mathurin is going to finally get that elusive starting spot he has probably long coveted. How does the makeup of this team going into this season all drastically change or get altered because of what's gone on in the offseason?
I got the perfect team to compare this team to, this current Pacers team. Are you aware of the 2001 LA Clippers? There you go. There's your comparison right there.
Okay.
You see where I'm going with this? The one with Lamar Odom, Elton Brand, Pat Kowski. I think they had Keon Dooling. And I think they had Darius Miles, Quentin Richardson, that team. That team was not very good, but they were really fun to watch. Really fun to watch. Now, going into this season, losing Myles, first of all, if we won Game 7, even if Tyrese didn't get hurt, if he didn't get hurt and we lost, or if we won Game 7, Myles would still be a Pacer right now. And I think that's clear to everybody. Myles would still be a Pacer. The only reason he's not a Pacer is because we lost. And I wish I could say more about those negotiations. I know more than I can say, but I can't. I'm just going to let you know that a lot of people are misinformed with the number that we supposedly gave them. And that's why I can sleep well at night knowing that we didn't fumble Myles Turner like people say we did. Now, losing Myles and getting Huff, if you look at the numbers, if you look at the type of player they are, Huff is very similar to Myles. Very similar as in he can shoot threes, he can block shots, can't really rebound that well. He can probably run the floor better than Myles, and he's probably more athletic than him. But I don't see Huff as our long-term starting center because there's just not enough tenure there. I don't think a guy can go from being a fringe player. He was on the Lakers, I believe. I don't think he can go from being a fringe player, just finding a spot in the league to being the starting big man on a playoff contender. I think Huff would be a fantastic backup center. I think he has a great skill set to be a backup center. I don't think Isaiah Jackson can be our starting center for a title contender team either. I think right now this is just the gap year. And what you said with Tyrese, him potentially coming back, I wouldn't risk it. I wouldn't risk it at all. I would shut him down for the entire season. I think we did shut him down for the entire season and the playoffs. Even if we say we make a Cinderella run, we're like the 6th seed, the 5th seed, we win our first round series. I still wouldn't bring him back because you don't want to bring a guy who just had an Achilles tear back in a high pressure situation where he's going to have to be diving for loose balls, running the floor really hard. I think this year should just be a rest year for Tyrese. Let him figure it out. Let him get back in his groove and then come back even stronger for 2027. But as of my expectations for this season, I have none. I'm telling you the truth. I have zero expectations. What I think we're going to do is honestly I don't know because this team, in my 13, 14 years of watching this team, we could go on a huge run. We could just pull the bottom out and tank. But what I'm hoping is come the All-Star break, if we are like around 500 or if we're like under 500, at that point, you tell Pascal, hey, we're going to lower your minutes a little bit. You tell the other guys, hey, young guys get to play a little bit more. Let's see what we have for the rest of the season, if you know what I mean.
Once again, it is Mueez Azfar. Please go ahead and check out the great work that he's doing right now at Last Word on Sports, right there for you also as well. He's a contributor for basketball at Yardbarker, so go ahead and check him out there as well.
And iPacers.com. Shout out Derek. iPacers.com.
iPacers.com indeed. All right, there you go. Again, iPacers.com and more right there for Mueez Azfar. Mueez, again, this is what I guess has been referred to by many as a gap year for Indiana while they wait for Tyrese Haliburton to come back on the mend. But I know there's a lot of players on the Indiana Pacers that still have something to prove for their long-term future. One of them is, of course, Benedict Mathurin. I think a lot of eyes are going to be on him, whether or not he can become a consistent NBA starter, a guy that can get you 15 to 20 in the league. If it does, and if he does break out to that type of starting potential, even if Tyrese Haliburton comes back, he becomes an interesting trade piece because of the extension capabilities or the extension eligibilities that he's going to be having in the not too distant future as well.
Of course. And with Ben, I'd love to keep him. I love the guy. I think he's awesome. I think his ceiling is higher than people think. But here's the thing. At his current play style, at the current level of play that he has, I don't think he's worthy to start over Aaron Nesmith. Now, while Ben is a better scorer than Aaron, which I'll put my hands up to that. Aaron is a better shooter and a better defender, and I hate to say it, a little bit better team player. And because of that, I think as long as Tyrese is on this team, I think Aaron is going to start, and I think Andrew is going to start. And if this year, Ben has a lot to prove. If Tyrese didn't get hurt, then sure, it'd be just fine. But because Tyrese is hurt, because this year is going to be a gap year for us to figure things out before we go back to actually contending in the playoffs, Ben has to show that he can do more than just score. And he can. He's a pretty good rebounder for his size. He can play defense when he wants to. I put him above the Cam Thomas tier because I think Ben is a good rebounder. I think he's a good defender when he wants to. He can hustle when he wants to. But we need to see that for a whole season, and then we need to see if that'll stay when Tyrese comes back. Because, as you mentioned, extension eligible. Him and Aaron are extension eligible. Him and Aaron Nesmith. And these next few months, I think one of them is going to get extended. And the one that doesn't get extended, I don't think they're going to be on this team come 2027. Like you said, we need a center. And I think come trade deadline, come the offseason, the one that isn't extended, I think they will be dealt for a center. Say Jared Allen, say an Isaiah Hartenstein, somebody like that. But I think one of Ben and Aaron will be the odd one out, and it's just going to take this season to see who it is.
Wanted to ask you this because you mentioned as far as the negotiating process with Myles Turner. And as you know, one of the, I don't know, I'd say stigma that's attached to Indiana, but one of the things that's noted as far as Indiana's Pacers are concerned and how they manage their money is the fact that they like to avoid the tax. They're one of the few teams that has either completely avoided or tries to avoid at all costs, even getting above the first apron.
Mm.
How is that, as far as, in your opinion, hindered the team's progress? Now, obviously, you'd have to say on paper it hasn't, because they've gotten to a NBA Finals. So they've been able to financially take care of their money and also still be able to build a good team. But as these players get a little older, Tyrese, Andrew Nemhard, other players that are going to ask for more money and more money, it's going to be harder and harder for Indiana to stay out of those cap situations. How do they continue to do that while still continuing to field out there one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference?
Now, I'm glad you mentioned this. The tax thing, people call us cheap. And honestly, with the recent Myles debacle, it's hard to contest that. It's hard to say anything otherwise. I'll just
Uh-huh.
tell you this: any offer that we would have given Myles would have put us in the tax anyway.
Yeah.
So that's a bunch of baloney right there. So the fact that people say that we weren't going to pay the tax at all, I mean, you saw the Shams report during the finals that said that we were going to pay the tax and re-sign Myles. We were going to pay the tax. The offer that we gave Myles, to my knowledge,
You
had
have
us
an
throwing in the
NBA
luxury
Finals
tax anyway.
team, so how can you avoid that? I mean, you have an NBA Finals
Yeah,
team. It's usually a
exactly.
given that if, like with OKC, they're an NBA Finals team that was under the cap, but you saw what they did in the offseason. They signed their top 3 players to really large extensions.
Yeah,
If you have a successful team, it's really going to be hard to avoid the
of
tax
course. Of
continuously.
course, of course, of course. And I mean, I do agree with the fact that when Tyrese is healthy, if there is a scenario that lets us get a good player and we have to pay the tax, you have to do it. Because when the guy comes back, he's going to be 26 going on 27, and then he's 3 years away from 30. So, and I'm looking on my phone right now, Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nemhard, Obi Toppin, and Isaiah Jackson, they become unrestricted free agents in 2028. So that gives us a 2-year window of when Tyrese is back to find a replacement center and potentially pay the luxury tax and go for that championship. So right now, I can't say that we're going to pay the tax because, it could come back to bite me. But if we don't pay the tax in a scenario that is needed to pay the tax, I'm going to have some questions about this team. Now, it's like we've built this team so perfectly to this point that something has to go wrong. And obviously, Tyrese got hurt. But if this team was smart with managing their money, and from what I know from Kevin Pritchard and Chad Buchanan, if they know how to retool a roster, we'll be just fine. And hopefully, that involves Herb Simon opening up the checkbook. And if the situation calls for it, shelling out an extra few million to get that extra free agent or to get that extra trade piece or to re-sign somebody, because the time to be cheap is you got one more year of being cheap. After that, pedal to the metal, buddy.
Because when you look at it, this year they don't have to go to the tax. No one would blame
Yeah.
them for not doing so. Yeah, it's just 2 or 3 years down the line, because it's not just Tyrese Haliburton getting healthy. It's Jason Tatum and Boston getting healthy, then understanding where Cleveland is at, understanding where the Knicks are at. Has Orlando in 2 seasons risen up
Even
to be?
Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, Philadelphia, that situation would, are they going to finally be able to move on from Embiid, Paul George, et cetera, by that time? Will they have reloaded by that time? Orlando, have the Orlando Magic elevated themselves to an elite level by the time you guys are ready to put that kind of money in there? Atlanta has had everything go their way as far as off the court with their transactions. Will they be able to put it all together and then sometime in the next 2 seasons as well? So I could see right now utilizing this gap year efficiently, but in a couple seasons when Tyrese gets back on the floor and their competitors also get back on the floor and they start gearing up, the East may not be as much of the quote unquote Eastern Conference by that time.
Exactly, absolutely. And I mean, this upcoming season, the East is going to be terrible. And that's why you saw teams like Atlanta go all in on 1 year, 2 years to try to take advantage of this championship window they have. When Tyrese comes back is when Tatum comes back, like you said. It's when a lot of teams will look quite different. And at that point, the East will be way stronger. As much as I hate to say, the East will be stronger, and it's not a guarantee for us to go back to the finals. Now, if you took this current Indiana Pacers team, you brought Myles back and you made Tyrese healthy, I would have us going back to the 2026 finals. I said that my hot take before his injury was that the 2026 NBA Finals would be a rematch of the first finals rematch we've had since 2018. Now, obviously, that's not going to happen. Even though I think OKC will return to the finals, we probably won't even make the playoffs. But you got that 1 year of seeing what you need to retool and seeing who you need to keep, seeing who you need to get rid of. After that, come 2026, come October, the preseason, you better strap on and get ready to pay that money and make sure you have the right roster to contend. I believe in these guys. I mean, every player on the Pacers I have some tenure with, I have pretty good experiences with, but when it comes to the next season, 2026, 2027, if you see somebody who's not producing, if you see somebody that's like, oh, well, he stands out like a sore thumb on this team, get somebody else, get a center. Get a center, please.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see how the Eastern Conference shapes itself out. Like you said, this year will be a little bit weak, but again, I don't want to put Indiana off because, okay, you lost Tyrese Haliburton, you did lose Myles Turner, but there's still a team there with 8 to 10 quality players you can put out there. And as a team like the Lakers, who depth is not their best trait, as I do have some envy in regards to the quality depth that you can get on your roster. So with that said, let's say everything goes right, or let's just say everything that went wrong already went wrong. And let's say everything else goes right for the Indiana Pacers this season. What is the ceiling, in your opinion, for the Indiana Pacers if they sense that how far do you think this season can go if it all goes right?
Sans Haliburton?
Right now, I mean, Haliburton, without Haliburton, because like you said, you don't think that the organization would risk him under any circumstances coming back.
Okay. Best case scenario for this team, 2022 Raptors. 2022 Raptors or 2020 Raptors. And I use those two teams because those were the two playoff teams that Pascal Siakam had to himself after Kawhi left. And talent-wise, I think we are better than the 2022 Raptors, but we're worse than the 2020 Raptors. The 2020 Raptors was that team with OG Anunoby when he hit that game winner in the bubble in the second round, when they beat that terrible Brooklyn team in round one. And 2022 was when they faced Philly and they lost in 6, if you remember that, when they went down 3-0 and they won 2 straight and then they lost in 6. Those are the two teams that I could compare this to. Best case scenario, 2020 Raptors. But I mean, I could see anything with this team. Best case scenario, we avoid the play-in, we sneak in as like a 6 seed, and we get a favorable matchup in the first round. Say Milwaukee. Like if we face Milwaukee, I think that's a good. I think that's a competitive series. I think we beat them honestly because besides Giannis and Myles Turner, that team is not very good. If we have a favorable matchup in the first round, I could see us winning. Now, it's very possible that the guys just rally and go on a huge run and say win 47, 48 games and get a good matchup in the first round. What I think will happen most likely is that we're either playing or right out of the play-in. And it's funny that you mentioned this because 2 years ago, when we were struggling to make the playoffs, the 2024 season, the one we made the Eastern Conference Finals in, that season, I desperately wanted us to avoid the play-in because my thing was you can't trust this team in a one-game do-or-die scenario because we were very inconsistent. And that's why I was so happy we beat Atlanta in the last game of the season because we completely avoided the play-in. This year, I think if we make the play-in, ironically, we win. We'll make it to the playoffs. So it's the thing where you juggle expectations and you think about what this team has going for itself. I think if this team were to make the play-in in 2026, they'd be like, all right, let's prove everybody wrong. Let's make the playoffs, you know? And I think, again, best case scenario, 6 seed, 7 seed. Worst case scenario, worst case scenario is 41-41. That's the worst case scenario. Straight 500. Yeah, nothing, relatively no progress. Best case scenario is either the 6th or 7th seed and you get a favorable matchup in the first round, or 10th or 11th seed and you get a good lottery pick. In which case, you either use that if it's top 7, top 8, or if it's not, ship it out for a center or another piece.
You mentioned those 2022 Raptors. They finished, from what I'm looking, was 48 wins for them. And
That's
I'll
almost
say
exactly
this:
what I think our ceiling is.
that. Like I said, yeah. If everything goes well, if Rick Carlisle has his team ready to punish and beat up on those bad Eastern Conference teams, 48 wins is very doable
It
for
is.
a team like that. That as far as how far they go in the playoffs, again, without Haliburton and Turner, we'll have to wait and see. But I do see a scenario just because of the sheer amount of manpower that you have and the fact that you guys can still trot out 10 players out there of quality during the course of the regular season. I think that is a doable thing. Again, they can stay motivated coming off the success of last season. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate Mueez, you stopping on by for us right here, Mueez. But before we end it out, I always ask, as you know from the last time we had that chat, where do you see the Lakers this season? Obviously, with LeBron, age 41 year, Luka, skinny Luka, as they're now calling him, around the NBA. Where do you see this team as far as the Lakers from your perspective? Because again, I always love the perspective of people who are not Lakers fans, but people that are knowledgeable on the NBA, like yourself, on where you see the Lakers this upcoming season.
Depends on DeAndre Ayton, if I'm going to be honest, because as we saw last season, the big problem you guys had was no center, and how Rudy Gobert absolutely feasted down low in the playoffs. And it just depends on what type of DeAndre Ayton you get. Now, as a fan of a team that was in the Ayton sweepstakes for about one day, I will say that I did want him under the condition that he would put his head down and work. And I think in LA, it's either he's gonna realize that he's in a big spotlight and he's gonna have to work, or he's gonna slack off because he is in a big spotlight and let everything else distract him. If Aiton is good, if that Luka Aiton pick and roll combo works out, then I can see you guys getting to the conference finals. I can see you guys making a run. But if it doesn't work out, if we're at midseason and Aiton just isn't contributing, he's being lazy, he's not going to the rim, he's taking those floaters again, then it could get scary for y'all. But y'all need some depth, man. Y'all really need some depth. And like you said, you were a little jealous of our depth, like you said. I mean, I wish we could loan some of that to y'all. I mean, hey, maybe come mid-season, if we're under 500, we loan some depth to y'all so we could tank and y'all can make a playoff run.
There you go. Indeed. Yes, we could definitely use some depth. And you're right on DeAndre Ayton. But the fact is, as I've said before in previous interviews, his financial future is weighing on how he does this
Yes.
season. It's as a
Mhm.
1+1. If he has, let's put it this way: if he has to pick up the second year on his contract next year with the Lakers, that means A, it ended in injury, or B, ended in a disappointing season. So if he
Mhm.
just hits his numbers, 16-10, that's a good start. And we could go from there. But we'll have to wait and see how motivated he is. And the fact I've said before with the Lakers, they have 6 or 7 players that are playing for money, that are playing for a new contract
Mhm.
with incentive. And that's a
Mhm.
good thing to have during the course of the season. It may not work out in the playoffs. I'm still trying to figure that out and wrap my head to see exactly where that takes them as far as the playoffs are concerned. But I could definitely see the fact that they're looking to get theirs. 6 or 7 people that
Absolutely.
are looking to get theirs uh, definitely makes for an incentivized team for the Lakers, which may play over their head during the regular season, but we'll have to wait and see.
Absolutely.
But
It's like
uh,
the sword of Damocles,
yeah,
hanging above you. It's like you could either play well, you delay that sword falling, or you play terrible and that sword falls right on you and you get cut. And of course, with this being, in my opinion, this being LeBron's second to last year because he's still got to wait for Bryce. There's gonna be a little bit of an agenda going on. Of course, they want to win a ring for him. He wants to win that last ring. We'll see how it goes for sure. This is going to be an interesting year for LA. Absolutely.
tell you what, though, my friend, it's always great catching up with you, and I hope to catch up with you during the course of the season with what's going on in Indiana, and obviously what your thoughts are on the NBA. But before we head on out, please catch up, everyone, on what you're up to with all the great work that's out there. Again, if we were talking pro wrestling, we'd be here for like 9 hours straight.
Oh my God, brother.
Yes. So yes,
You gotta get me on one of the wrestling videos for sure.
I might
I've
just do that, my friend. I might just
yeah,
do that. Absolutely.
I've been putting in the works to start a YouTube channel. I'm mostly on Twitter. I write my articles now and then, but I'm looking to start my YouTube channel. I got a lot of video ideas in my head. A lot of them are about wrestling. Some of them are about basketball, but they're more like niche topics, like dunk contests and things like that. But in terms of wrestling, brother, I could be here for 5 hours. You could be here overnight. you know.
Yes.
But hey,
Indeed.
you can catch me on Twitter down there. I think I'm pointing at it. Yeah, down here. That's my Twitter handle. That's also my YouTube
Camatron
handle.
PT.
Yeah, Camitron PTW. That's also my Twitch handle, where I'm going to be watching movies. I'm going to be watching old wrestling videos, old shows. I found out that Twitch's copyright law is pretty lax, so I guess I have free reign to do whatever the hell I want. But y'all can catch me on there. Y'all can catch my articles on ipacers.com and Last Word of Sport. I should have one going out about CM Punk tonight or tomorrow. And then I have one going out, and I'm planning to do one about Sami Zayn that I have coming out around Saturday or Friday, depending on when I want to get started on that. But yeah, man, it's been a pleasure. Always great to see you, and hopefully we can catch up soon. Maybe NBA Cup Finals again.
There you go. We'll see what happens, my friend. Absolutely. And then again, I definitely will. Yeah, there you go with the GP. There you go. His son just bought into a skateboard league. So there you go.
Okay. Hey,
yeah, there you go.
I'll tell you what. I started the hat thing. I started wearing the hats more, and my principle is that I only wear Pacers hats or like really old retro hats or hats of teams that don't exist. And there's no such thing as a Thunder hat with a big X on it. So this is the closest thing I got.
There you go. No worries indeed. Again, GP2 got invested into a skateboard league, so that was very interesting to see how that worked out. But it is right there. He's floating all the nice, great retro jerseys. It is Mueez Azfar. Please go ahead and start your journey either on Twitter at Camatron PTW or there you go, Baron Davis. Nice. There you go. There you go.
I'll tell you what. I just got it. The reason why I was a bit late to the show today is because I just got a shipment of like 8 retro jerseys. So while you do your spiel, I'm just gonna keep showing them.
There you go. He's showing them now. Again, please go ahead. There's McGrady right there with the Rockets. Go ahead and make sure you go ahead and check out what he's doing at Camatron PTW. Oh, Rashid right there. Rashid with the Pistons right there for you there. Camatron PTW. And of course, ipacers.com. Also, go ahead and make sure you check out everything that he does as far as his great work on all those great sites. The Last Word on Sports, Yardbarker, and ipacers.com. Mueez, again, if we were talking wrestling, I'll be here all day. I've got the monthly shows that I do on pro wrestling on the Pop Culture Cosmos. Definitely would love to sit down and chat with you on that.
Hit me up. You know where to find me.
You got it. Yeah, absolutely. A CM Punk. I wonder if the missus might be around by the time this airs.
We got to talk about that. We
might just have to talk about that indeed. But Mueez, sure. Always great to have you here on the show. And again, love to bring you back on to what we're doing right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.